Hello everyone, this is the Disney Dude here, coming at you from the Magic Kingdom. I just got here, pretty hot. I mean, what else do you expect in Florida in July? I mean, okay. But I'm just walking down Main Street, but turn you around here. I love seeing the castle, almost the original colors. They're fantastic. So I smell cigarette smoke. You always gotta love it when people smoke in the parks and they're not supposed to. Just great, Like, I paid all this money, I can do whatever I want. And it's like, yeah, no you can't. Sorry, but it's like, if I would have seen that person, I would have turned them in, because that's just outrageous. I mean, to think that you're above the law is outrageous. But anyway, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to blog about Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress and what this really means for Tomorrowland. So Tomorrowland has been going through kind of a major refurbishment, if you will. The rocks are gone. We reported on that. They were taking out the rocks to the side here of the land. Ooh, that breeze feels good. That's nice. But Tomorrowland has been getting kind of a major overhaul. That includes updating Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. They're updating Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. We got a new Astrophiz location. There's a rumor that Space Mountain is going to be refurbished. So, I would probably say your goodbyes to Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. I mean, who knows how much longer this is going to be here. Again, having the lowest testing attraction, I just don't think it's going to last. It would last another 10 years. I mean, we could be wrong. I don't know, but Tomorrowland has been going through this whole kind of refresh. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is a lot better than it was. Now we're coming up to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress here, which is finally getting its refurbishment. I know a lot of people are upset, but I mean, people are missing the point of the Carousel of Progress. Now, should they have redone all the scenes? I don't know. But I will tell you that that Act 4 had to be refurbished, because it was very old, and it was a lot of time. It was time. So, here we are now at Carousel of Progress. So, a little bit of backstory on this thing. This attraction debuted at the 1964-65 New York World's Fair, and it was sponsored by General Electric, and Disney was tasked with making a General Electric pavilion. So they came up with the Carousel of Progress, which showed you how we evolved with technical energy, and how life began, and then over the years we started in the 1900s, and then went to then we went to the 20s, and then the 40s, and then we went into the distant future, and now we have reached the distant future. Back in 1964, 1965, this attraction was really revolutionary. It was really revolutionary. The idea to have a continuously loading theater, to have a really high capacity of guests was really unheard of. Most shows, you queue for, and then you go into the theater and you sit for 20, 25, sometimes 30 minutes, and then you exit, and then the next group then the next group can come in. You were really limited with how many people you can churn out per hour. This attraction really changed everything. This attraction really changed it. Just to have a rotating theater with multiple seating, with multiple seats, multiple sets of seats in the theater. That was really unheard of. I don't know the hourly capacity to Carousel of Progress. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so that I apologize for. But again, just being able to churn out so many guests per hour was really revolutionary. And it was the same with what we're looking at now with the People Mover and the Haunted Mansion and Spaceship Earth and rides of that nature that were continuously loading. It just changed the game for everything. So it's we have a lot to thank the Carousel of Progress for. Again, now I'm going to talk about, a lot of people are upset that they are changing this attraction. Look, now, did they have to change the first 3 acts? I don't know. That seems, that's up for debate. I mean, that I don't know if that's what I would have done. I don't know if I would have changed the 3 scenes. But Act 4 definitely had to be updated. It was well over time. The last update to this attraction, just to put this in perspective, was 1994. Okay, 1994. That was when it was last updated. That was it. Now they've done, multiple refurbishments here and there, kind of, changing out the seats and, kind of refreshing the audio animatronics, but having a full on retheme of the Carousel of Progress, that was, never, that was unheard of. So, it does make me sad, because that probably means we're going to be losing the original voice cast, Gene Shepard as the father, B.J. Ward as the mother, of course, the legendary Mel Blanc as Uncle Orville. We're going to be losing all of the original voice cast. I hope that with this update that they'll kind of keep some nods to this attraction. So it's it so, but I mean, I just don't know. I mean, now, there's a lot of, double on, there's a couple of double entendres in the attraction, and kind of, and more adult humor in the attraction. Now, I don't know if Disney's going to keep that or not. I mean, whenever they do a refurbishment like that, they kind of remove all of they kind of remove all of the original dialogue and such, like what they did with Pirates of the Caribbean and such. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the original dialogue is gonna, stay or not. But I would kind of, I think it's a safe bet to say that a lot of the original dialogue is going to be cut, because again, it was a lot of innuendos, a lot of adult humor, and that's something that for some reason Disney doesn't like to do anymore. They don't like to do adult humor like that anymore. Which I think is which is I think kind of sad, because you have to have all these attractions. Yes, they were built for, well, I shouldn't say all, but most of the attractions were built with, for kids. But it goes back to it goes back to Walt Disney's, way of thinking of, you have to have family entertainment. You can't just focus on one age group, because that's your mistake. That is your mistake. If you're just focusing on one age group, then you're not going to reach anybody else. So, and Disney has done very well over the last 100 years of this company to make entertainment that everybody in the family would love. You can't just make one specific movie for somebody. You can't make one specific ride for somebody. You have to make things that the whole family will enjoy. Now look, I just about tripped over the side. So, but that doesn't mean you can't have roller coasters and that and such like that. That's obviously fine, but it has to be. I go back to Walt Disney's quote when he said that the theme parks have to be. The theme parks are like a stew. It's like a stew. There's something in it for everybody, okay? Which is what Disney is. They make things for everybody. It's not just, oh, we're just going to build roller coasters. Oh, we're just going to build kiddie rides. We're just going to build, a certain type of show. That's not what Disney is. Disney is, they make things for all people to enjoy of every age. And, I know people, they want to say that Universal is better than Disney. Universal makes, now, not a lot of their older rides, but their newer rides, they build roller coasters. That's it. Okay? They build roller coasters because they think that that's what people want nowadays. They want roller coasters, and they don't really care about theming and as much as Disney. So, their theme parks, Universal is more geared toward adults and young teens than they are with the family, which I really think is a mistake. You have to have things that everybody can enjoy. Otherwise you're just building one specific attraction, and that's not right. That's not good. So there's Dale. That's great, wearing a new space outfit. That's great. But again, that's where Disney excels. They know that, there's a lot more families that come to their parks, so they have to have things that everybody can do, and they can't just have one specific thing or ride or show that one that some people can do. They have to have things that everybody can do, because that just makes sense. So, but anyway, to get back to the Carousel of Progress, I am cautiously optimistic. Now, look, that Walt Disney Auto Animatronic, that's going to be great. That is way overdue. I think that, you really need that for this audience, because the people that, I'm going to say something a little mean, but the average guest that visits Walt Disney World, they have no idea. They don't know who Walt Disney is. They have no idea, not a clue. They just know his name because he's the name of the company. The Walt Disney Company. So they have no idea who Walt Disney is. So having a Walt Disney audio animatronic, especially here, that's great, because then that shows people that he was a real human being, that he made this wonderful company that everybody still loves to this day, stood the test of time. So having that Walt Disney audio animatronic, that's going to be fantastic. I fully support that. Now, with the other scene changes, I don't know. I just really have no idea. But I'm going to get out of the way here. I don't want to be in Chip's way. I didn't realize I was blocking the way. I don't know. I mean, I just really have no idea. I don't know how it's gonna go. I mean, I know a lot of people, they, as more and more of the elderly generation die off, we lose more and more of the 1900s and the 1940s aesthetic, because then people just and then today's audiences have no idea. They don't know about they have no idea about they don't know what a butter churn is. They don't know what a sewing machine is. So getting rid of the 1900s, 20s, and 40s. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Again, we're just going to have to wait and see about all this. But I've said this several times on my news. When I've done the news, Disney knows that they can't screw this up. Disney knows that the bar is set really, really high. It's set really, really high. So they know that they can't screw this one up. So it's again, it's going to be hard, capture lightning in a bottle, but you know, now I think that the Walt Disney Company is at a better place than it was. You know, it's at a better place than it was when Bob Chapek was head of the company. All right, they are in a much better place. Disney has started listening more to their guests and understanding what people want and how to make the park days more comfortable and just more enjoyable. So that's great. I have more faith in Josh D'Amaro leading this company than I ever did with Bob Chapek. It's so I have faith in this company, but on the other hand, I'm cautiously optimistic because I'm like, I don't know. Are they going to ruin this attraction? I don't know. Okay. There's a lot of people say that they've ruined Pirates of the Caribbean when they changed the redhead scene. Some of these attractions, they go through a refurbishment that's usually not always the best idea, but again, getting rid of the redhead on. I mean, they didn't get rid of her, but getting rid of the auction scene in Pirates of the Caribbean, auctioning off women and stuff. I understand. I get it. You don't really want that. You don't want that message to come across in 2026 or whenever they did the refurb, which was years ago now. But so that I understand. I just wish that they would have. I wish that they would have rewrote the scene better, because the scene is just not great. It's not great. It falls flat. That's my hope with Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress, is that when we update this attraction, we are keeping the integrity of the attraction and also just balancing the act of adult humor and family humor at the same time. And again, this is going to be a really hard project. So I really wish them luck. I really wish Disney luck, because they're going to need it. They are definitely going to need all the help they can get, because they know that they can't screw this one up. It's just, there's too much at stake with retheming Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. So, I've seen a lot of people they've trashed. They've already trashed the attraction. They said it's going to be garbage. It's going to be horrible. Let's just wait until Disney comes out with this final product. Let's wait until they come out with this final product, and if it's not good, then we can go after them. Okay? The perfect example is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. When they got rid of the Great Movie Ride, I was devastated. I think we were all devastated. And we were like, well, maybe they'll come up with something better, something newer, and it's not. It's not. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is garbage. It's garbage. It does not belong in the Chinese theater. It does not belong in that space. All right. So Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is garbage. It doesn't belong in that space. And I hope they don't make the same mistake with Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. I just hope that they don't make that mistake again. But you know, again, cautiously optimistic. We're just gonna have to wait and see about it. But again, cautiously optimistic. Just have to wait and see. But I think that we are in a much better place now than we were with Bob Chapek and I don't know what my camera did. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh, I think we are in a much better place now. You know, after Bob Chapek left, and in some respects, Bob Iger. And look, I really liked Bob Iger. I thought he was a great CEO. You know, your CEOs are always going to do things that the other people are like, I don't know if that's what I would have done. But, you know, so they're always going to do things that, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I would have done that or not. But I think now with Josh D'Amaro being head of the company and Josh being a parks guy, I think we're in a much better place now than we were Bob Chapek and then post Bob Chapek. I really think that we are in a better place now. But we're just going to have to wait and see. We're just going to have to wait and see how it all works out. But again, like I said, cautiously optimistic. I just don't know how it's going to go. I just don't know. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and hope and just hope to God that they do this attraction correctly, they do it right, and they don't screw it up, because there is no room for error. there's no room for error with Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. There just isn't. So, but you guys will have to let me know how you feel about it. But you know, again, I know a lot of people are just trashing the attraction and saying it's going to be garbage and everything. But let's just wait. Let's wait and see. Let's just wait and see what the final product is. Okay? Because, you know, it's, you know, we can't judge them. We can't judge Disney until after they come out with the finished product. And then once the finished product comes out, and if it's garbage, then we can go after them and everything. But let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see how this all turns out. So, so this is my very first episode of More Disney. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel for more content. Let me know what attraction you want me to do, or what show you want me to do. You know, please let me know in the comments, because I really like sharing. I really like sharing my knowledge of Disney and you know, I like sharing my knowledge of Disney and what this great company can do when, you know, when management allows them to do great things. So, but I'll turn around now. So, again, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel for more content. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you guys would like to support me and everything that I do, I'm on Patreon. You just go to patreon.com/newswiththedisneydude, and for just $5 a month, you can support me and help me to get out this content to you. But there you are. I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to enjoy this really hot day now. I think it's time for an air break and something to drink. So I'll leave you guys to it. I'll see you guys right back here on Wednesday for Wednesday's news show. Until then, y'all keep each other safe and healthy, and we'll see you real soon.